Well, welcome back to He's House, where we do a little bit of everything all the time, and it usually turns out right. There's no lights on right now. They were a second ago. It is super windy outside, and our power keeps cutting on and off, so this video might be a little darker today, but I'm still gonna make some spaghetti because we got a gas cooktop and we can use it with no power. This is my long spaghetti, the one that takes a lot longer to make at least. Uses a bunch of fresh tomatoes. Almost came on. Uses a bunch of fresh tomatoes. I'll still use some canned tomatoes just because I'm going to make about 2.5 gallons. But it'll be delicious, and follow along. Sometimes we'll have light, sometimes we won't, and hopefully a tree doesn't blow down in our yard. First things first, we're going to get these tomatoes chunked up, diced pretty large, and then we're going to get these simmering. And while that's happening, we'll dice up all the rest of these vegetables and get the sausage and stuff going. I've got my pan sitting on this little diffuser plate. Keeps the bottom from getting too hot. Doesn't burn anything. I'm gonna put a little oil in here. Like 2 tablespoons. Now I'm just gonna start dumping the tomatoes in here, and this is gonna simmer for quite a while. All right, 6 more tomatoes to go. All right, that was about 10 pounds of tomatoes, and it fills this pot up to about right here right now. That's gonna simmer down quite a bit. So now I'm gonna get the sausage on. No power. Now, you can buy just the ground sausage instead of these links. It actually works a lot better. This is kind of a pain in the butt, but these are on sale. And so this is cheaper, and this is the brand I like. So I got the links. All right, we're gonna let that cook till it's almost done cooked through. Now I'm gonna wash my hands. The only thing I'm gonna add to the tomatoes while they're stewing is a bunch of fresh parsley and some basil. And then I'm going to saute the rest of the vegetables. I like the flavor of this, and it does look like a lot, but again, I'm going to make about 3 gallons of spaghetti sauce today, so this really isn't too much. And that'll just simmer down with the tomatoes. And I don't have a ton of fresh basil left, so I'm going to use probably about 4 tablespoons of dried basil. I'm going to get the sausage nice and small so there's not any big chunks. We're going to make some meatballs to go in here, so I want this just to be like a ground beef consistency. Alright, the sausage is where we want it. I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to start using that pot to saute all the vegetables. I'm going to tilt this pot up some because I want to get the meat out, but I want to leave all that fat that came out in here. Then I'm going to cut up 2 onions. And for the onions, I'm just dicing them up, whatever size you guys like. I'm going to do these fairly small so they kind of disappear into the spaghetti sauce. And these are gonna go for about 10 minutes. I want these all the way cooked. Turn that heat up a little bit. And then for the peppers, they'll be a little bit more chunky. Alright, now we gotta wait for the onions, and we'll keep carrying on. Our onions are right where we want them. They're starting to get a little caramelized, and they're smelling good. So I'm gonna throw the peppers in now. And I'm gonna dice up both these things of garlic. All right, time to peel them. I'm just gonna chop this up a little bit. One thing that's really good, if you have time or power, which we currently don't have, is to take all these vegetables and throw them in the oven and roast them for a while until they start getting that blackened skin on them. That'll make the spaghetti sauce taste really good. All right, these peppers need a little bit more, then we'll throw the garlic in. These tomatoes with that basil and parsley in it smell absolutely wonderful. All right, peppers are good. I'm gonna throw this garlic in there now. You might be thinking, there's some big chunks of garlic in that still. It's okay. Garlic is wonderful. And it's gonna simmer inside this pot with the tomatoes for another couple hours after this is done. And so it'll be softened up and it won't have too big of a garlic bite when you get it. Add a little bit more oil to this. And I'm gonna turn the heat down now that the garlic's in there. I saw something the other day. I'm gonna see if it works. Oh, I'm right-handed. I forgot about that. Huh? It worked. You just have to use your dominant hand, apparently. All right, time to throw the mushrooms in. Now that's gonna sit for a few minutes here, just to get some of this flavor on them. And then I'm gonna dump it all in here with the tomatoes, and that's gonna simmer for couple hours. And then while that's simmering, I'm gonna go kick on our generator and plug in some of the stuff. All right, I'm gonna throw the vegetables in. Stir it up. I'm gonna let this simmer now for probably at least a half hour, 45 minutes. And then I'm going to add the rest of the canned tomatoes in. Alright, this has been going a while, so now I'm going to add some crushed tomatoes in there. And so there's 10 pounds of fresh tomatoes, and I'm putting another 4 pounds of crushed tomatoes in there. And crushed tomatoes are basically a sauce, so it's not chunky at all, but I left those fresh tomatoes nice and chunky. And besides the onions, I left all the vegetables and the mushrooms chunky. I'm also gonna add the sausage in now. This sausage is mostly cooked through. It's pretty much cooked, but I left it a little bit less cooked, and I'm gonna put it in here. And this is just gonna melt all the fat from the sausage into the soup, and it's gonna be delicious. It adds so much flavor. And if you notice, I got power right now, but you might be able to hear the generator running in the background. It doesn't power everything in the house, but it gives us lights, keeps our fridges working, and powers our one mini split that's in the room right behind me there. Man, that smells good. All right, this is gonna simmer for probably an hour now, and then I'll do the ground beef and the chicken and add it in. All right, so that stuff's been going for a while. I'm gonna do the ground beef now. This, I'm not gonna put any seasoning in because once I get this cooked, I'm gonna strain all the fat out. This is gonna have a lot of fat. This is some homegrown beef I got it from my cousin. And it's about 80-20. So it'll have a lot of fat, and I don't want that much fat in the sauce. But I'm going to use the fat from this to cook the chicken in. And so I put a little over 2 pounds, about 2.5 pounds of sausage in there. There's 3 pounds of ground beef, and I'm going to put about 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds of chicken in here as well. I'm just going to brown this up, and then we'll check back in. All right, this meat is pretty much good to go. I'm going to put it on this strainer here because I want to get the fats out of there because that's what I'm going to cook the chicken in. And then once this is strained, I'm going to dump it in this pot. And I think I'm going to actually add some more crushed tomatoes in here because once I add the rest of this meat, I think it might have too much meat to the sauce. But we'll see how that goes. All right, well this drains. I'm gonna get the chicken out and we'll get that started cutting up. In the meantime, I'm gonna show y'all what this looks like. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty good. It smells so delicious in here. I wish you guys could smell it. All right, let me go get that chicken. Let's get the chicken out. And I found some red and yellow pepper from the other day. So I'm gonna actually cut this up real quick and add it to the soup. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna add it directly in. I think this might have been from pizza night the other night. But don't want it to go to waste. All right, now that we got that done, let's turn the heat up on this pan. I always do my chicken last. Chicken's dirty. It's good meat though, but it's just dirty. Bodie, you know you're not getting raw chicken, dude. Cut it thin. I'm gonna get the chicken cut down so it's about the same size as the peppers. That way you don't have to like cut it up when you're eating. I want these pretty small. Cut all the gristle out too, so I'll actually cook this up in a little pan and then Bodie can have it, but I don't give him raw chicken. Just raw beef, right, Bodie? He's sitting there staring at me. I don't think you can see him on the camera. Cutting chicken works so much better when it's slightly frozen, but I picked this up and I forgot to put it in the freezer. I try to get everything out because there's nothing worse than biting into some food and getting a piece of gristle. Nobody wants that in their meal. Plus, it doesn't go to waste because Bodie's gonna eat it once I cook it. All right, that's for Bodie. That'll sit there until I'm done. And then it's gonna get cooked in the same pan with all the beef fat. You're gonna like that, aren't you, Bobos? So I'm just gonna cook this all the way through. Now, I'm gonna go wash my hands. I'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, so I've dumped the ground beef in here. I'm getting full to the top now. Stir this up a little bit. And I missed a couple pieces of chicken, so now that it's cooked, I'm just gonna go through here. And if any of the pieces are a little bit big, I'm just gonna break them up. Alright. We're gonna strain the fat off of these. Turn the heat down. Alright. I'm gonna put the chicken in here. And I'm gonna put this juice back in here for Bodie. All this is cooked chicken and beef juice. So he is going to enjoy it. And then I'm gonna cook his little pieces of chicken, wash up my cutting board. All right, now while I get cleaned up, I'm gonna let this simmer some more. Got this simmering a little bit, but I do need some more sauce. I don't have any more tomatoes, so I'm gonna add 4 more cans of sauce to it. I'm gonna add about 4 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Maybe 3. Yeah, let's do 3. We'll taste it later and see how it is. And I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of Italian spice blend. And then I'm also gonna add some pepper. I haven't added any salt yet. These cans all have a little bit of salt in it. Not a ton, but there's still a little salt in there. So I haven't added any salt yet. I'll do that at the very end once this simmers a little bit longer. But I'm gonna keep turning, and I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of black pepper. Let's get this all mixed in really well. 4-gallon pot, and I'm up to right about here right now. So there's about 3 gallons of spaghetti sauce in here. All right, that's looking like the consistency I want. I'm gonna let this simmer. And Bodie's chicken's done, so I'm gonna serve that up for him. All right, we did that fresh pasta, which is right here. And spaghetti sauce. I mean, that's just delicious. So, no power today. We have the generator running, which doesn't run everything. We couldn't make the meatballs, unfortunately. We were supposed to have some meatballs. Those are in the fridge. We'll make those tomorrow or whenever the power comes back on. But for tonight, we got some fresh pasta and spaghetti sauce. And this is very delicious. So I'm going to get off of here real quick and eat this. But thanks for stopping into Heath's house, where the food is always fresh. The back deck is always open. And sometimes when you don't have power, you can still eat pretty healthy. See y'all later. Bye.